If you're watching this and you're a health practitioner or you're a wellness expert and you're wondering, if your program is ready to launch into the world, maybe you're still changing your Instagram bio, for the 5th time this week, or you're unsure whether you should wait until you have more testimonials or case studies. If you're thinking you should wait until you've worked with more clients, then this episode is a little bit of a shakeup, because right now I know, based on the things that my clients are achieving across nutrition and therapy and movement and more, that consumers are spending thousands of dollars, pounds on their health and well-being every single day. And so it's not just that they're spending money on supplements or, therapy or retreats. They're spending money on things that you could be offering, but you aren't. And that's for a whole load of different reasons for those of you watching this. So let's spend the next few minutes looking at what people are actually spending money on right now and why you're missing out if you're not positioning yourself properly. So there's no shortage of people looking for help with their health, but there is a shortage of wellness practitioners who, and if I switch over to my iPad so that we can kind of make some notes as we go, there is a shortage of wellness experts who are speaking really clearly about what they do. So clear on the promise or, the outcome that you actually help your clients with, that are offering, structured solutions to real problems. So solving real problems for people with a specific symptom or a specific condition. Okay, there's a shortage of experts who are confidently positioning themselves as an expert. So the confidence to position as an expert. And here's what's worse, right? Less experienced or less qualified people are already stepping up, and they are making offers, they are being more visible, and they're getting paid. And I see this every day. Less qualified practitioners than you just showing up and making specific offers to solve real problems for real people, because they are tapping into what people want, not what you as an expert think that they need. And there's a really important difference there. So while you're focused on, maybe adding more value or, giving free advice or overthinking every post, they are cashing in on demand that really should be yours as well. So there are 10 things that I can see that wellness clients are paying for right now. And I'm going to go into also why they work. So let's go through what those 10 things are. So the first is convenience and the promise of solving a root cause. So convenience plus solving the root cause, getting to the heart of what is actually causing something. So for example, at-home gut health protocols. And these are usually paired with something like a stool test or a coach or, guidance and what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability to actually take action to correct something at the root cause. And the convenience of maybe at-home testing or, being able to take action at home is the key to selling this particular solution. The second thing that is selling well right now is solutions that are identity-based or connect to someone's identity. So identity-based solutions. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So something like, feeling like myself again. And this is particularly feeling like myself. Again, this is particularly relevant to things like perimenopause, menopause, stages of life, midlife crisis, those sorts of things. But more specifically, if you attach it to, a set of symptoms, it might be something like a hormone reset program for women in their 30s or 50s. It's, maybe more emotionally resonant. So not something so vague like get your energy back, but something that really hooks into an identity piece. So for a woman in their 50s, who wants to feel like themselves again and enter the new chapter and the next chapter of their life feeling more energized and like they can achieve impossible things and go on impossible adventures or start a business, that attaches to somebody's identity. So the third thing that is selling really well right now is kind of this idea of rebellion against, restriction. Okay, rebellion against restriction. So, for example, weight loss without dieting. So no tracking, no calorie counting, all the things that are kind of really outdated that were like big in the 80s and 90s, like, weighing your food or counting calories, big emotional hooks. And what's really selling is like this rebellion against restriction. So you're no longer having to do all the things that you thought you needed to do to lose weight. You can now do it by enjoying your life and enjoying the food that you eat. So number 4 is about providing certainty in chaos or in a chaotic time in somebody's life. So, to be blunt, a perfect example of this is fertility coaching or IVF support. So not just nutrition, but mindset, calm, control. When somebody is going through a chaotic time, they don't just need a meal plan. They need to understand how to make really clear decisions, make better decisions for themselves, actually get the support that they need, stop feeling so overwhelmed by choice. So number 5 is, not this idea or promise of not feeling alone. So when people are battling certain conditions or symptoms, they can often feel isolated in their experience of those symptoms. So things that are working really well right now in the wellness industry are memberships and communities. And frankly, this is something that AI can't and won't replace. So memberships, group programs that are built around validation of emotions and feelings, clear strategies. If your ideal client is feeling like they're struggling alone with something, maybe that's an eating disorder or, they're recovering from a specific type of cancer. Again, bringing community together can be really powerful and can also lead to the type of relationships with which you can build more premium client relationships. So someone might start in a low ticket community, but then they build that trust with you to work with you on a more one-to-one basis. Number 6 is relief from chronic overwhelm. So relief from something chronic that somebody has been, suffering from for a long time. And you might find that identifying an objection to overcoming that chronic overwhelm, like without medication or without spending hours in talk therapy, can also build on this type of promise. So the example that I would give is something like, anxiety or burnout recovery, using a new and fresh approach to recovering from PTSD or high functioning anxiety. So incorporating, a somatic approach or yoga therapy or nervous system regulation and creating a system that helps someone to get relief from chronic overwhelm without going down the path that they thought that they needed to go down, like a medicated route, for example. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with that. I'm just giving you an example of where you can stand out by crafting a methodology with multiple facets of training and or qualifications as a wellness expert to really stand out. And a good example of that is the Wim Hof method, where he's incorporated a bunch of different practices to ultimately create something that resolves a chronic problem for someone, pain, anxiety, those sorts of, long-term pain points that people struggle with. So number 7 is, getting your life back through a solution to a problem. So getting your life back, and I'm going to give you an example of getting your life back. Getting your life back, for example, through better sleep, right? So sleep coaching is a huge market. Millions of people struggle with insomnia, being unable to sleep. This is a huge market. So I'm actually going to highlight sleep here as a really untapped market. And a lot of you watching will have qualifications, whether that's in nutrition or therapy or movement, that could attach to a solution to the sleep. Basically, it's an epidemic. If you Google statistics on the number of people who struggle with stress-related insomnia, it's in the millions of people. Millions of people rely on sleep medication but don't want to be on sleep medication. So that is, kind of an exciting industry right now. And it's urgent. If you're not sleeping, you've got serious problems. And so it's something that someone will pay to have solved for them. Well, let's talk about kind of personalization of maybe supplements and subscriptions to supplements. So this is a little bit left field, but we're really selling kind of simplicity and, trust in an expert recommendation. So this is probably a little bit vague, but ideas around this kind of area of business are things like affiliates. So teaming up with a supplement brand that you know and trust and can recommend, and recommending that to your audience. You can do it in a personalized way, so doing it in the back end of your business with clients. Or if it's a more general product that you think would be good for your whole audience, whether that's, a hydration sachet or, a collagen supplement or a smoothie brand that, sends out prepackaged smoothies, whatever it might be. And backing that recommendation with your expertise can be quite powerful as a revenue generator in your business. So freedom from shame and guilt. This is a piece around emotional eating, for example. So freedom from shame or guilt, which a lot of people have carried through the way wellness and health have been more, toxically marketed over the years. So unpacking emotional eating, food relationships, support with food freedom, coaching through these processes, pairing it with nutrition. What's selling here is freedom really from shame, guilt, cycles of self-loathing or, lacking self-esteem when it comes to food or relationships with body, confidence, etc. And then the last thing, and this is, something less online, but when it comes down to it, AI is going to drastically change the online education space, and it's going to become increasingly important for you as a practitioner, as an expert, to get your people together in the real world and share experiences with them. So transformation in person. So experiences, let's say experiences as well. You can actually read my writing. So high ticket wellness retreats, between 2,000 and 5,000 for a few days. People are paying for these experiences because they want to digitally detox or escape from their work or life or parenting or whatever. They want to take a few days to kind of come into themselves and experience a more luxurious transformation where there's space and time freedom to focus on the things that they may not have otherwise gotten done. So here's what all of these things have in common, right? They solve a specific emotionally charged problem, okay? They solve an emotional problem, okay? They connect to what someone is experiencing on an identity level, on an emotional level, not just a top level symptomatic approach. They speak to what someone already knows they're struggling with. So someone already knows what they are experiencing, knows their struggle, and it connects into this. And if you're in a business where you need to educate your audience on their struggle before they realize they have it and therefore will pay you for it, it's a long road to building something sustainable. So having a niche, having a business where your audience already know their problem, have already been diagnosed, have already done some of their own research, gives you a big advantage in the wellness industry. And then the final thing that all of these things have in common is that They don't require people to understand your method. They just want the result. Okay? Customers or consumers want results. They want to know the end goal. They're not so fussed about how you're going to get it done. And that's not to say it's not important to have a method. There's a lot of value in saying, I use the Wim Hof method to help you to resolve chronic fatigue. That's useful because it gives you credibility and it shows that you've thought about your process for getting results. But in your marketing and your messaging, it's important to remember that consumers just want the result, and you need to talk about the result constantly. So here's what they don't do in terms of like what those things don't have in common. They don't teach vague balance or alignment. They don't use generic language like, I'll support your well-being or help you to live your best life. They don't make the client do mental gymnastics to understand abstract ideas to figure out if it's even for them, right? So if the language of what you're selling is so confusing to someone that they're not even sure that they understand what it is that you do, there's no way that they're going to get over that hurdle to even buy from you. You have to meet people where they already are, not where you want them to be. So what do you do with this list, right? I want you to go and I want you to audit your offer. I want you to look at your niche, and you're going to be asking yourself, am I speaking to a real world problem? Do I know exactly why someone would pay for this? Have I structured my offer to feel like the solution that they are looking for? And if not, it's time to get really honest with yourself and really brave, because sitting in indecision is costing you more than money. It is also costing you impact, confidence in what you do, being visible. If you're showing up and you're not getting traction, it's because these things need to be audited. There are people who are ready to pay you today. I know that there are consumers out there who want to pay for health and wellness solutions. And if you can show them that you get it, not that you're the most experienced, not that you have the best branding, but if you can show them that you can solve their problem and that you get and understand that problem, then you will be leaps and bounds ahead of other practitioners in your field. And frankly, you will build a profitable and sustainable business, almost guaranteed. So maybe this episode made you feel a little bit unsure about your business right now. This is an opportunity to reflect. That's good. It means you care. It means you're ready to take action. If you're ready to grow your business, then here's a reminder for you. You're not meant to be on the sidelines watching everybody else steam ahead. You're not meant to be scrolling through Instagram, watching others grow around you and get success. You're ready to innovate, right? You're ready to create something transformational and get paid for it. If you're not sure where to start, I always come back to, your niche, how you set yourself apart. And below this video is a link to my free AI tool that generates a hyper-specific niche for wellness experts in less than 10 minutes. So here's what it looks like. It works really easily, really quickly. It's an AI-powered tool using ChatGPT. It's a custom GPT that you can type into, and it will ask you a series of questions about your qualifications, about who you really want to help. If you're not sure, you can brain dump a load of stuff into it. It'll ask you a little bit about your lived experience as a practitioner, and it will also ask you if you have any client case studies. And from those 4 pieces of information, or 3 if you haven't got case studies, it will generate 5 hyper-specific niches that are going to be profitable for you right now as a practitioner in your specific field of expertise. It's super useful. The link for the GPT is below this video. Go and check it out. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.